Today I thought we could revisit the DC Direct Secret Files Series 3, The Joker. I started to have a lot of fun going back and looking at some of the older figures from this channel, and thought it was time as well to go back and look at one of my favorite Jokers as well. It's funny, again, that this particular line had some of my favorites of certain characters, being the Poison Ivy, the Joker here as well. Really liked also the Two-Face. Before we look at this little clown Prince of Crime, let's look at the display stand. This is actually the same display stand as all the other figures, complete. I still got the baggie right there. I haven't done anything with these, nor really do you necessarily have to. I mean, yes, these would come off and they would slot in these little slots and you would attach them all together, but they stand perfectly fine on their own. They don't, well, the stands, I should rephrase that, stand perfectly fine on their own. So you can take like the figures, there's the one peg hole on the underside of Joker's foot, attach it to the stand. There we go. We'll look at his accessories in a second. So there's Joker, there is Two-Face that we've already looked at. Like that. And also a little update. I was going through my collection and I ended up finding the missing display stand for Poison Ivy. As you can see, that she does come with a Gotham Power, a little cover there. And she also has the rounded off end. So basically she could just go on the end like so. The only figure we haven't looked at yet, and I might, you know what, the fact that I've looked already at these three figures and revisited those, how do you feel about me doing Hugo Strange Batman 2? Might as well, you know, can't do all of these and leave this guy out. So maybe we'll do him in the next video. Okay, so we'll just move the Two-Face out of the way and move Poison Ivy. Oh, I love this figure. Move Poison Ivy out of the way. And once again, we'll bring in all the goodies for Joker. Alright, so in the regards that basically all these figures come from source material, I'm not quite sure what the Poison Ivy comes from, other than just being glorious, glorious plastic, but clearly this is Killing Joke's Hawaiian shirt Joker that this figure is depicted from. It comes with a couple of accessories, but we'll look at those in a second. Gotta say, one of my favorite Joker head sculpts of all time. It's almost a shame for how good that head sculpt is that they didn't make use of this for a purple jacket or regular costumed Joker as well. The zaniness of his face is outrageously awesome. Big bug eyes. You know who he kind of reminds me of is the Boogeyman from the original Real Ghostbusters cartoon. Look at the big smile on him. There's a little bit of imperfection I got on the one corner there, but overall I can overlook that for how great this figure is. I love the coloring of his hair. If you were to ask me, what would you personify as the ultimate design for Joker, I would go with something like this. A very exaggerated nose, very elongated chin, and the short coif hairstyle with the slight curls and stuff to the side. That's, for me, that is Joker. And I think this figure, again, just personifies every aspect of what I like so much about the Joker. So he does come with a Hawaiian shirt. The Hawaiian shirt having your three colors of green, blue, and red, or kind of like a burgundy color there. The little palm trees, I guess those are palm trees, wrapping around the perimeter of the figure. Now, he does have one thing, one aspect of the figure is that you can rotate the arm. If you leave the arm straight, this is one thing I want to point out. If you leave the arm straight, you can see that it leaves this big white sphere of extra plastic. And not knowing right away what that's for, you think it's an imperfection until you realize that the arm actually has to be brought outward, like so. And then it kind of lines itself up to, it doesn't really even do the best of jobs lining up because it cuts the tree off in the process, but it does fill in the crease there if you want to take his supplied shot glass. And same with the Two-Face. I'm surprised that I still have this shot glass. You can take that and put it in his hand. You want to rotate the wrist as well. The shot glass doesn't actually sit fixed into his hand. It sits really loose, so you want to make sure that the hand is placed just right, because this won't friction attach itself into the hand. It'll just kind of sit loose, so you can get something like that. Just very carefully take, there's the shot glass. You can see how the bottom half is still a clear plastic, and the top half has been painted in like a red. Very, very surprised I still have this. Move that down, and the other accessories that he comes included with is his camera, which looks very, very nice. We'll have it the right way there. Painted in black, painted in silver, little silver accents there. And it almost looks like even the back of it can open up, but it can't. Let me just get him to actually stand up right here. There we go. It almost looks like it could open up, but I mean, it's just the way it's been sculpted into the back of the camera. Yeah, I can't open up. It does have a rubbery strap, so you just drape that over Joker's head. Wish it was a little bit longer, because the downside to having it this length, it doesn't sit completely flat. If it was just a little bit longer, you could have it more attached, like it would be naturally draping, as opposed to kind of levitating away from his chest. And lastly, Killing Joker does come with his pistol. Kind of looks like a Magnum. They have removed, it's not broken, they've removed the bottom half of it so that when you put it into his hand and get it right, it kind of does the job of removing the nuisance of the trigger, and in the process kind of looking like Joker's pulling back on the trigger, even though it is technically leaving too much of a gap and the gun is sitting too far forward. But that's as far as it will go in the figure's hand. It's painted nicely in gunmetal, especially if I don't drop it onto the floor. It is right, there we go, right there. Keep dropping all this stuff all over the floor. So I do like that as well. A good display to display him with the gun as well as the shot glass. Let's take this all off and have a look at his posability. His head is on a ball joint. Now, unfortunately, this figure over the course of time has gotten a little loose. Just a little on the loose side, but it still does the job perfectly. It's still fine. I'd much rather, excuse me, a loose head than something like a loose knee or loose ankle. Arms rotate all the way around. That's as much as you're going to get. These are only hinge joints after all. He does rotate at the forearm. Does have a bend in the elbow. Now, that's one thing also I want to mention too, is that the arms are pre-bent. You can bend them forward, but you can't bend them any further back than what they are right now. That they're permanently bent, so don't be trying to make these straight. It ain't gonna happen, my friend. He has no waist swivel, but a hinge back and forth on the legs. They don't hinge outward though. There's Joker's very pale legs. He has a bend at the knee. You can, however, rotate the legs, which is kind of neat because you can rotate the legs outward. You can have Joker doing like a little jig or a dance. You can also rotate the lower leg as well, and he's got the bend in the knee. Such a good head sculpt on Joker. I really wish this Joker head sculpt could have been carried over to a more traditional costumed Joker as opposed to just Hawaiian shirt Joker. But for how iconic the Killing Joke was, I think this Joker really knocks it out of the park. And still, to this day, I think the figure holds up well. Kind of like the Poison Ivy. Two-Face admittedly so does feel a little on the dated side, but I think both Joker and Poison Ivy still stand up as decent figures that you can add to your collection now, and you won't look at them and think, they are a little on the dated side. These ones look, I think, still hold up pretty good. Today we are revisiting, this was the DC Direct Secret Files Series 3, I believe it was, and this was Killing Joke's Hawaiian Joker, or Tropical Shirt Joker, or you could just say the Joker. If you guys like these little revisits, these throwbacks to older videos, let me know down below, and maybe let me know what figure you'd like me to go back and revisit once again, now that we have high def, the future is upon us, and these videos can be looking a little bit nicer than they were before. Also, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, click that little subscribe button down below, and in addition to that, he's throwing all this stuff at us. In addition to that as well, I also have a playlist for DC collectibles and DC Direct videos, and also throwbacks. So if you wanted to go back and look at some of the other videos I've revisited, there's playlists there for your viewing pleasure. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.